Welcome, Cancer. This is your July 2017 reading. This is Jean, and I am with Rebel Yell Rising. I want to thank you guys for joining me for this reading. For my new subscribers, welcome. For those of you guys that have been with me since the very beginning, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And by hanging out with me, I mean like you guys have been there since, I don't know, June 1st. It really hasn't been that long. So most of the subscribers are new. And I really appreciate you guys taking this journey with me. So if you guys have been watching the videos from, the beginning of June and the weeklies and the dailies, I am starting to do things a little bit differently. It's part of my journey. I really am shifting more towards finding readings and setting the intentions and asking for messages to help the viewers be empowered to find your own inner strength, right? To carry on, because that's what I'm really about. So I am using the Isis Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. I felt very moved to use it this month. There are deep and profound messages if you guys have ever used Alana Fairchild's Oracle decks. So I will be referring to her guidebook, so I appreciate your patience as I find the messages. I am getting a little bit faster the more I do use this deck, but again, her messages are so deep and so profound. I don't want to miss anything that is really key to what the messages are for each card. Okay, so let's get started. So the very first card is the spiritual issue that is occurring for you. And this is the spirit of Isis. So give me a second. All right, Cancer. So there are times to surrender and let go, but there are never times to give up. Persist with your bold faith and inspired action until the impossible happens. Isis has the spirit of triumph and will never fail in her quest, no matter how bold or impossible it seems. Believe, right? So this is basically about your willpower, not force or domination, but your inner power that kind of fuels you to keep on going, to do whatever it is that you need to do to help push forward and not give up. So for you guys, for the month of July, on a spiritual level, it's, okay, let me back up real quick. So the reason that it starts out with the spiritual issue is that at the core of every tangible physical issue is a spiritual issue, right? Think of an onion or a parfait in layers. And at the very core is the spirit, right? And then you've got the emotional, the mental, and then the physical. And I don't know if that's in the right order, but you understand. So knowing what the spiritual issue is, right, will help you understand why things are happening in your physical world. As within, so without. So for you, Cancer, for the month of July, the biggest spiritual issue for you is to keep pushing through, to not give up. Whatever you're going through, guys, it seems like it's really been difficult. It seems like it's been a really tough journey. And it's really interesting because July is Cancer season. So maybe with the sun in Cancer, you guys are like extra heightened, intuitive, extra heightened emotionally. And so maybe things are, even more, I don't want to say unbearable, but like affecting you even more so because this is your season. I'm not sure, but this is saying that you guys have been having a rough go of it lately, and don't give up, okay? This next card, it is in the position of how you can best heal that in your daily life. So what you can do to help. Queen of Heaven. All right, it's a really pretty card. Give me a second. I'm going to look this one up. I think I just passed it. Okay, Cancer. So how you can best heal, in your daily, everyday life from Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What this card is saying is that Isis, the Queen of Heaven, she's an Egyptian goddess, acknowledges your feminine authority, whether or not you're a man or woman, doesn't matter, and that you have a life path of spiritual leadership to bring qualities of mercy, compassion, and wisdom into the world. So this is sort of a confirmation of your feminine leadership and spiritual authority, regardless of, again, if you're a man or woman. So we all have feminine and masculine energy. And what this is saying is, if you've been maybe wondering, while you're sitting in your cubicle, or if you have been going to, bingo night and hanging out with your ladies, having tea, is this it? Is there more for me? I feel like there's something else, right? Or maybe you've started to have your spiritual awakening. I mean, that's probably why you're watching this video. This is confirmation that yes, that is part of your path. And on a daily, in a practical manner, to acknowledge that, to accept it, to be okay with it, and embrace it, right? It doesn't mean you have to run off to church or to start, spouting off, oh gosh, I don't know, your little nuggets of wisdom. But what this is saying is that, yes, it's part of your life, it's part of your journey, and it's coming. So don't resist it, but also don't be afraid of it, okay? Because things will happen in divine right timing. Things will happen when they're supposed to happen and how they're supposed to happen. Okay. So this next card is the blessing that is coming for you. Goddess of 10,000 names. Okay, now I really, really, really love this card. The reason, because I feel like it's so profound, right? And it's very personal to me. So what this is saying is that throughout our lives, we each have many roles that we fulfill. We can play the role of mother, father, of pastor, of actor, model, lover, spouse, brother, sister, right? I can go on forever. That's kind of fun. But the point is that you are not that role. That role does not define you. It's what you do or what you did, right? And part of living this life, this human existence here on earth, is having multiple roles, playing different roles, right? And it's not easy, because when you're in a role for such a long time, when you're a mother for such a long time, or you're an actor for such a long time, or you're the Bachelor for such a long time, it can really get blurry really fast. Well, not fast, but it can be really blurry, where the duties of that role and who you are separated, right? As in, like, it's really hard to separate the two, right? You feel like you're an actor and that's what you've done for 30 years. That's who you are. But it's not. You are John that acted. You are John that, was on TV and did a TV show. But that's not who you are. And in order to find your next role, you have to let go of the last one. Okay, here we go. It's funny, the actor thing, right? So let's use, Mark Wahlberg. It's the first one that just popped in my head, right? Hold on with me, Cancer, here, because I want to make sure you guys are getting this. So let's use Mark Wahlberg. So, just because he's been in a lot of movies lately. So he was a rapper, right? He used to dance around on the stage and then drop his pants, right? That was fun. And now he's an actor, right? So he was a rapper, but it's not who he is. Otherwise, he still wouldn't be. It's just a role that he filled. Now he's an actor, right? And he has different roles. Now I can't even think of any of the movies he was in. So his role in Transformers ends, and then he goes on to play, another, that Patriots Day cop, right? That's not who Mark Wahlberg is. But these are roles that he plays during his career, during his life, right? So for one, he's a cop, and then he is Transformer guy. I don't know any other movies that he was in recently. But you understand, right? You are not your role. So you are not only a mother. You are Laura, right? That name just popped in my head. So don't worry and don't be afraid if you feel like, well, now what do I do? My children have just moved on to college, and now what? I've been a mother for so long. Okay, well, that role will always be there for you. You'll always be a mother, but you can pick up another role. You can find strength in another role. You can grow and nourish and be nourished through other roles, right? Just like actors and how I feel like the really good ones, they really choose roles that are really different because it pushes them and it helps them to grow. So, and actors don't want to be typecast because then they don't really get a variety of roles and they don't get to be challenged, right? You might try a horror movie role because you will be having one experience there, and then you're going to be doing an indie film where maybe you're playing a homosexual character, and that's really gonna push you in a different way to work on those skills, and that range of emotions, right? So likewise, your roles are going to change and will not be the same your whole life. They do not define you, okay? So the gift, Cancer, is that you might have this sort of epiphany or a realization that maybe there's something else that you want to do, or you're going to have this realization that I was a college student for a few years, but now I'm okay with doing something different. It's kind of scary. When I was in college, people looked at me and treated me a certain way, but now, I'm ready to join the workforce and be a business analyst. Or, I went to college and now I'm ready to be a wife and a mom because that's, my next role. So the blessing is that you guys are going to, I feel like, either get another role or have that inner realization that you are not the role. Okay? And it doesn't really seem like maybe it's a big gift, but it truly, truly is. Okay. I know I was kind of long-winded there, but I just wanted to make sure you guys understood the importance of that message there. All right, so that's the blessing. Now, the biggest challenge for you, Cancer, for the month of July is Pyramid of Light. Now, this one, it's about you stepping further along your destiny, right? raising your vibration, raising your frequency, and being more aligned with love and light. And that when that happens, there will be those that are of a lower vibration and a lower frequency that will be attracted to your light, much like a moth to a flame. Sorry, I'm looking for the actual card here in the book. So what this is saying is that you're growing in significant light. Darker energies could become more attracted to you, right? Because in the dark, if your light starts to shine, you're the only light around, they're going to be attracted to you. But what this is saying is that you have nothing to fear, only more mastery and awareness of the power and protection of divine love. So this is saying that energies have been causing interference with your path, and that it's now time to end that interference with love and compassion. So if you guys are into, like, if you guys do readings, like tarot readings, oracle card readings, if you guys do energy work, just make sure that you are protecting yourselves, psychically, shield yourselves and whatnot. And if you have any questions about how to do that, feel free to drop me a line or put it in the comments below, and I'd be happy to explain. What this is also saying is that there are... Okay, let me take a step back. When you're doing oracle readings or tarot card readings or, connecting with spirit, always protect yourself. Always shield yourself psychically, right? And then you'll see, if you watch other readers, we always, ask that the messages come from a place of unconditional love, or that it's only divine guidance coming through. Because, let me say it from the book, because they're much more eloquent than I am. That there might be beings who think that they are helping you, but they are not of unconditional love, and they are therefore better to be released from your energy field. So, that's why so many people feel so comfortable working with angel decks, right? Now, that's just an example, but this could be in any form. If you guys are, clairvoyant, clairaudient, and you receive messages, keep in mind, what this is saying is that if you are seeking advice, or if you are seeking to communicate with spirit, that the messages that you receive from angels, from unconditional love, from divine entities, they will always be positive, and they will always be for your highest and best interest, and they will always uplift you, right? Now, so let's use an example, guys, because I feel like this is such an important topic. Say you're asking about a job, right? You're meditating, or you're praying, or you're communicating with spirit, however you do so. This is a way of communicating with spirit, by the way. Should I take this job, right? An angelic response is not going to say, yes, do it, or no, don't. Because you have free will, they will not interfere. They will say, have confidence, or wait, or slow down, or, something along those lines, but they won't say yes or no, necessarily, right? And they won't really predict the future. It's more like giving you an idea, in a sense. Now, say you're connecting with Uncle Bob's spirit, and you're thinking about getting a job at a bar. You're like, hey, I'm trying to communicate with Uncle Bob. Hey, Uncle Bob, because maybe he raised you, and he loved you so much, and he was like a father to you. But Uncle Bob, here or on the other side, is still a spirit of a human being. not divine, not of unconditional love. And his soul is not vibrating at a higher frequency to be aligned with like the divine, right? It's a lower frequency. So even if Uncle Bob's spirit thinks he's helping you, it's not coming from a place of unconditional love. So Cancer, again, that was a long-winded answer. What this is saying is protect yourself, shield yourself psychically, right? Like, and then if and when you are communicating with spirit, make sure that you are only allowing angelic guidance, divine healing, that messages only come from unconditional love, right? And to not be afraid, because let me see, no energy, no energy can interfere with you unless you give it permission. And that could be consciously or unconsciously. You know what? I think I might just do a video on that because I feel like that's such an important message. So, if you are doing cards like this, for an example, right, and you start to feel like a little nervous, or you're starting to kind of feel icky, or you're starting to feel like someone's watching you, don't be afraid. But it's very likely that's not like an angelic or divine energy or anything that's coming from a place of unconditional love. All right? So when you deal with that, have compassion and respect in your heart, as well as having that firm boundary as a method of psychic protection. Right? Yeah, because we are human beings. We have free will. Nothing, good or bad, can interfere with us unless we allow it to. And that's what this is saying. So your challenge, and because you guys are so, watery, Cancer, that you are very intuitive, you are very psychic, and I'm sure you guys all know this, and this is talking about your spiritual path continuing. So any intuitive, any psychic abilities are probably going to be heightened. And what this is saying is that you guys are going to possibly be picking up on it and feeling it. And know that this also might be why any forward progress on your path might have been slowed down, because there might be negative energies, lower energies interfering with the process. All right? Guys, I don't want to get too much into this, more than I already have. If you have questions, please leave comments below, and I'd be so happy to clarify or get back to you and see what we can do so that you understand this card. All right. Lastly, this last card is the special guidance for you that is from your higher self or guides for you to resolve this whole issue. And this is for the month of July. Cartouche, Divine Names of Power. Okay, so I just had this card for another sign. And what this is about is kind of saying, words have meaning, words have power. Yes, but maybe in a deeper sense than you are thinking, right? So if you're watching this video, I'm sure you understand what I mean when I say, talking about vibrations and energy and frequency, right? The higher, the better, the lower, like the further away from divine, right? So music is energy, right? And it has vibrations and a frequency. It vibrates at a certain frequency, right? So do our voices, and so do the words that we say. So if you think about it, when you manifest something out in the world, when you're talking, you are manifesting, right? Because you're taking something that was in your brain and now it is in the world. And what this is saying is that the guidance for you guys is to make sure that you remember and understand the power that you hold by speaking certain words. To choose your words carefully, because you, when you speak, are sowing words of love or words of hate, depending on what you're saying. And you are manifesting when you speak, right? Think about prayer. Think about like chanting and singing. These are all ways of like getting into that state of mind where you're connecting to the divine, right? Well, it's the same thing when you're talking. So what this is saying is that your guides are kind of trying to just make you more conscious of the words that you choose, because you are manifesting quickly and you have a responsibility. Well, with great power comes responsibility, right? And as very intuitive and psychic beings, you are now responsible for what you are putting out into the world. We are each responsible for what we are putting out into the world. But specifically for you, for the month of July, let's recap. Okay? So, I think I might have already forgotten this. How horrible is that? The real issue for you guys. I'm getting old. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, the real issue for you guys is to not give up, not to surrender. Muster that inner strength and keep moving forward. Yep. Keep moving forward, guys. And that's the issue for you. How you can best heal your troubles on a day-to-day basis. Oh, it's knowing that you have a life path of spiritual leadership, regardless of if you're a man or a woman. That divine feminine energy is in you, and you are, how you can heal this on a day-to-day basis. Kind of just acknowledge that, embrace it, and move with it. Hold that. Okay, the blessing is that you will be releasing a past role in order to take on another role. Or just understanding that you can have more than one role. You can be mother and father for, some single parents. So the blessing is going to be an additional role, a new role for you to carry out, or even just the understanding and realization that you're not the role that you are playing. All right. The challenge is to not get steeped down in negative energy, to have those psychic barriers, and to understand that nothing can interfere with your energy unless you allow it. And the higher guidance for you is to be responsible with the words and the names that you choose to use for people and for situations in your life. Okay? All right, Cancer, this is one of the longer readings. I thank you all so much. I really do appreciate the likes and the subscribes and the shares. Any feedback you guys give me is great. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful July.